Welcome to the show, everyone. Today is Saturday. Uh, we are gonna have an important show. We have one of the most important guy in town, one of the most important personality in our community. Mr. Daniel Corona is here today with us to talk about business in our community. Now, you have to keep in mind though, uh, if you see a brother like Brother Corona take his Saturday time and to come on the show and talk about his role as a business liaison in Montgomery County, as far as our community and government affairs. So that means you really have to pay attention. And if you see this live, please make sure you share this with most people in our community, because I know it's Saturday morning. Most people are not aware or still probably still sleeping. Most business people are actually working. But this have to be one of the most important show, because you know America, period. The backbone of America is small businesses, and this is the guy that can give you all the tools, the keys to get you access to anything. Whether you want to deal with capital, you want to deal with credit, just access. So he is the guy that knows almost everything when it comes to getting access to opportunity here in Montgomery County. And we're so blessed to have him. Somebody like Daniel Koroma. This is not his first time working hard, trying to do the best he can to keep the community connected. So without further ado, we're gonna bring this brother up, Brother Corona. Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, Malik. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you. Thank you for coming on the show, Daniel. I know it's a Saturday morning. You are one of the most requested men in town. If you're here this morning, that means you really care about your community. And we're blessed to have you, man.
It's a privilege, as you know, when Malik invites me to come and talk about, ways to help, businesses here in Montgomery County. I have to definitely say yes, but more importantly, um, this is a really good time because there are a couple of things that are coming up next week. So I hopefully will be able to discuss those things, and many of the businesses who are watching this show will be able to take advantage of it.
Absolutely. You know, Montgomery, let me say this, and this is not because you're here in front of me. I think the county government is lucky to have somebody like you, because I know we've been in a business, whether it's a political business or a business or whatever. We know people in our community. We know people who only show up when they need you. But I can say hands down that you are one of these people that I know that when you invite him to come and do something that like you're doing here, it is your job, I know, but this is not all of you in the county government don't act the same, and we take note of that. Just to let you know, I thank you again for taking this time on a Saturday morning, coming on the show and trying to help our people move forward. So, Daniel, usually I know folks like to read a bio by somebody and to tell people just tell a story about you when you are capable of doing this better. Can you just a little bit tell people about who you are, and that will mean your education, where you are trained and all kind of stuff, and how you get into this business of trying to help the community and the people, because you've also been running for office in the past. I don't want to get into that because we're here talking today. We talk about essentially business, but
Exactly.
people a little bit about you so that we can put everything in perspective.
Sure. So again, I'm Daniel Koroma. I was born in Sierra Leone, came to the United States with my parents. And then from there, so I went to elementary school here, went to junior high school here, and then I went back home. I came back for education, Went to the University of Maryland, got my master's degree there. I was also privileged to be part of an executive education program at Harvard Kennedy School. So that's really about my background. Montgomery County is an amazing place. It's given me and many others the opportunity to realize the American dream, which is one of if you work hard, you play by the rules and in the game, and again with faith, there are great things that can happen. Again, that being said, we know that there are challenges that we face here in America as Black people. But of all the places that anyone can live, Montgomery County is that place where, as I say, I've been able, not only me, but many of us have been able to realize the American dream. So that's really just a little bit about me. I've done community work for many years, as you noted. I started volunteering in the county, and for 3 years, I volunteered with no pay because I saw the need for us to organize our community. And through that organizing, we were able to do many work in the East County. And then through, again, my community work, early voting sites in White Oak, which is where I live. And right now, many of the residents who live in White Oak, we have to go to either downtown Silver Spring, which is about 3.4 miles, or Maryland Prisoner, which is about 3.6 miles, if we want to vote. And there are many people in White Oak who do not have cars, so we rely on public transportation, which means that if we work Monday through Friday on weekends, it's difficult because the public transportation schedule is different on the weekends than the weekdays. And in Maryland Prisoner, there's no public transportation actually that goes there to that library. So therefore, we only have one choice on the weekend if we want to vote. So that's my only educational life. It's been also my civic life. I feel like no matter what we do in life, if you get a good education or wherever you work, the goal is how do you balance that with your, with your other life, which is your community life. The impact we make in this world is in our community. We can make impact in our work. Yes, it brings, a service, or it brings revenues to the bottom line if you work for a business, which is great because through that revenues is how you get paid. But what we do in the community is our lasting footprint, because people will always say, hey, this is what Malik did, this is what Daniel did, this is what so-and-so did. And so that community impact is one that is also important. And now, as I say, I have the privilege of being the Business Liaison Officer in Montgomery County, where I'm in the forefront when it comes to providing business support services for businesses in the county, especially in the midst of the pandemic. Most of the grants, and we'll be talking about those grants that are going on right now, grants that are within our office, and then I am leading the effort to reach to our diverse community, because we all know some of the disparities that exist, not only in health, but also when it comes to the business area as well, in terms of access to information, access to capital, access to credit for minority businesses. So I've been focusing on helping minority businesses gain that information about the various forms of capital that are available.
Absolutely, we get into that. We get into the meat of that. That's why we wanted you to come on the show, because what happened is that most in this digital age, everybody's on social media, but it doesn't mean that everybody getting the same access to same information, to value information. The government can have its own website. You can have your own, but that doesn't mean it doesn't translate into everybody getting the same information. That's why we do what we do here. Our mission.
To that point, though, that's why I'm here. But that's why I have over 21 business resource partners that we work with. Because, as you say, people have their comfort level, right? There's some people who are not comfortable dealing with the government, and so they deal with the chambers. They deal with the small ethnic chambers and the small ethnic nonprofits. And so the goal is, you're right, we should work with people who are trusted by the community. And that's what our leadership in the county executive, Mark Elridge, have always said, like, whoever the people trust are the people we need to work with. So I would say the things that I'm doing is not because I'm doing it because I have the freedom of doing it. It's because I have the support of our county executive who's saying, listen, we have to make sure we reach out to the hard to reach communities. We have to make sure we reach out to the minority communities. This is a preference that he places in everything we do, to say, okay, we're serving everybody, but then how do we reach those who may not want to come to us? So thank you for creating this platform for me to be here.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what we do. We deal with business education and then politics as well. And those three areas, it's the areas that we have expertise on, and we will make sure that our community benefits. Just like you said, once you have education, there's a tendency to make sure that that benefits the community you serve. So again, thank you for doing what you're doing. This is not by luck, and ask you to give us your background on a purpose, because I know your level of education, but I also know that you've been in the community. They call it being in the game. You've been in the game for a long time, so we know each other. Yeah, you mentioned in your opening, you mentioned uh, three areas that you really focus on in terms of and bringing awareness in terms of giving those keys to businesses and people in our community, and to empower them, because in the end, essentially, it looks like from what you were explaining is that you today your mission is to make sure that you talk about access to capital, to credit, and all that the folks need to know, especially during this time of COVID-19. You know how the economy being paralyzed and people being disenfranchised. So I'm going to let you kind of break down in your own terms. What do you want people to know about all these elements, capital, credit, and whatever access they need to get in order for to reinvent, to energize their businesses?
Yeah. So Malik, let's state what the problem is. The problem is government told businesses to shut down, which means zero revenues. That was the problem when the pandemic hit. And it was the right thing, because how can we really overcome the pandemic is only when we're able to put in place measures that would keep the public safe and that would keep the workers in those businesses safe. And as a result of that, what ended up happening was that there were some businesses that clearly could pivot to providing their services online. And some of the things we did was to make sure that in providing this business support services, the businesses that reach out to us, we're able to work with them to say, okay, how do you pivot from, if you're a restaurant, if you cannot have a walk-in traffic, how can you pivot online and make sure that people can now play online? And as you're aware, some restaurants were able to do that, but many were not able to do that. The retail industry as well. And I'm talking about, these are the hardest hit industries, not only in Montgomery County, but throughout. But I'm speaking specifically for Montgomery County. So we also saw that there's small businesses that couldn't go into the office. And as a result of that, some of them had to shut down. And there was a recent article that says, if they are not open yet, they will not open. And so which means that the goal for government is to, how do we make sure we provide that revenue loss? Okay, we're able to meet the revenue loss of that business for that 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months that's closed. Well, of course, government cannot be the end of it. At the end of the day, government, we want businesses to open because that's how they will generate the revenues to pay their bills, but also, really sustain themselves. And so Montgomery County was very, very fast in acting. The county government put together a grant program. It's called the Public Health Emergency Grant Program. So that was the first program that was put in place to help businesses. Many businesses applied. We looked at the businesses based on the revenues that they lost during the closure, and we granted them money. So that program.
Well, Koroma, my brother, I'm not gonna, I know this is one of the most important show,
Sure.
because it talks about businesses And you know, and I know that the backbone of this country, period, I'm not even talking about county government,
Sure.
it's businesses, it's small businesses.
Yeah.
The county government that you represent, that you work for, have grants for people.
Mhm.
And the opportunity probably on your website.
Yes.
What I want to know is that do you even have a training in a way to bring people understanding how these things works? Because just having opportunity there is not going to solve the problem.
That's
People
correct.
have this type work. So I would expect you a little bit to get deep into how do you put resources available, and how do you help people to get access to this resource? Because there's people that will tell you, hey, I don't know, I don't know how to
Yeah.
do it.
No,
So
I agree. I totally agree. And so first of all, in terms of putting together resources, yes, we can put those resources together, but I agree with you. So access to information, it's a big impediment when it comes to, all businesses, especially small businesses, and especially minority businesses. And so, yes, we have things on our website, but we put together, an extensive outreach plan where we were able to reach out through Facebook, through WhatsApp, through Google Group, Yahoo Group, for the informal networks, apart from the chambers of commerce and others who are helping us to reach out to the business community. But we also provided in terms of information sessions. So far, I've done probably over 30 webinars. That is apart from shows like yours that I'm coming to. These webinars are detailed trainings on the application process. How do you apply? What do you need to prepare? In fact, before you apply, what do you need to prepare? The documents you need to have, right? So we're going to be looking at your revenues. So which means we need taxes, P&L statement, profit and loss statement. We're going to need bank statements. So all the things that we are preparing businesses so that when you apply, or as you're applying, you have everything with you. In fact, talking about that, on Monday at 10 a.m., I have a webinar for the grant program, which is the Reopen Montgomery Grant Program, which I'm happy you put the website on the show. If people go to the website, you'll be able to see Reopen Montgomery. If you click on it, we're accepting application as we speak right now. And on Monday, this Monday that is coming up, which would be September 21st at 10 a.m., I will have a webinar that would explain the details of that program. So thank you so much for highlighting that, Malik, that it's not only just putting out the information, but how do we make sure we prepare businesses to apply?
absolutely, Montgomery is one of the smartest local government, though. Seriously, number one, when they put folks like yourself in place, knowing the impact or the kind of a connection you already have with the community.
Thank you.
Very important, because if you don't put people in place, people that are supposed to be in place, then whatever, it doesn't matter how good you do, you're not gonna get the success that you're supposed to. Now, in our hands, though, as a small business owner and also other people that we all connect with, it doesn't matter how much you put out there. It's we don't get access to it. It's a failure for us. So you have to. I want to commend you for what you've been doing, trying to constantly finding venues to convey the message. The county executive probably understands that it's important for people to get access to those information. The quicker the better. And you coming on the show is another statement that you are really, you care about your community. And I will through this program today, send another message to some of our friends in the government, whether you in education, politics, or business. We have invited you to come on the show, and you need to show up, because don't wait last minute, because the last minute we will get you, because this information go to the community. We are the community. If you don't come on the show and try to explain yourself about what you do, because there are some people. I take an example. We are in the French-speaking community. Most people are not comfortable, going to those, information and get access or get help. So what you were telling me the other day was that you work with many community, many affiliation to get this information out. Can you name? Do you have any maybe example of those groups that will possibly somebody who's a French speaking person? We want to get access to training, how to fill out the application, because all business owners are not completely don't have the kind of education that we expect them to have. That's number one. Number two, don't forget, there's a lot of people that are in business by themselves. They not necessarily have they're in business, and as a matter of fact, that's what they do, and they feed the family with it. But in the application, when I look at the requirements that the government asks, sometimes it's way beyond what they can provide in terms of if your bank statement, in terms of how many employees, if the person is by himself, he don't have a bunch of people that he's been paying, a bunch of people on his payroll. How do you deal with this specific question? And for example, here in Montgomery, you go to a restaurant, the guy is operating by himself or with his family helping him from time to time. That very person, how can you go and understand that, okay, there's big businesses, there's small ones, there's startups. So how you deal with those differences in terms of getting access to the information to everybody, and also everybody being happy with the results, you know?
Well, so let me first of all say that we here in Montgomery County, what we've been trying to do is to ask for the relevant information that we know is accessible by the business owner. For example, the business owner has to file taxes every year, so therefore they have access to their taxes. Even if they don't do a formal, let's say, P&L statement, what we've accepted is they could write down their total income, total expenditure, and then give us, so that informal P&L statement that is written down and signed by them, they could provide that to us, because we're not trying to put any more burden on businesses, especially in this time of the pandemic, right? So, but let me also say, there are other programs that do require extensive documentation. Why? Because these are federal funded programs, and the federal government is asking us to collect that information. So for example, if you applied for our micro enterprise stabilization program, that's a program we're using money from HUD, and HUD has a household income eligibility requirement, and then we are also using just the business taxes. So that is asking for a lot of information. But the program that I talked about, Reopen Montgomery, that program basically, we're only asking for receipts. So you apply, we're not asking for any documentation up front. And all what we're asking you to do is provide receipts to us as a business that you have purchased PPEs, like any other type of hardware that you've bought to keep your employees safe or keep the public safe, and we will reimburse you back for those expenditures. So that is very simple, right? We're not asking you for complicated information. So I agree with you that, some of one of our programs is asking for a lot, because while we're using federal funds to fund that program, but all the other programs we've put in place, we're looking for just basic information that the business already has. So you don't have to go back to a CPA or anyone and pay them for them to do any paperwork for you.
That's very good. I think I'm so glad you clarified that, because folks that I speak to, they get frustrated, and somebody will have 1,000 or 5,000 to re-energize his business, but he has to go through all this paperwork.
Yeah,
and we wonder whether you want to help people or you just want to pretend that you're helping them. So we want to simplify. You as a government representative, and you have to simplify this process so that everybody at any level can get access to a little bit of help.
But let me also add that one of the things we've done is, as I said, they are business resource partners. So we know that, as you made mention of, there are language barriers as well. So providing information, doing all that is one thing, but there are also language barriers. So let me give you an example. Our county executive was very, very emphatic to say we need to provide, assistance in at a minimum, the top 6 languages that are spoken here in Montgomery County. So let me give you an example. We have a business resource partners that can help people if they want to fill out the application in French, in Spanish, in Amharic, in Mandarin, in Vietnamese, in Korean. And so these are all languages that if a business here in Montgomery County, a business owner, right, may not be, may have, in terms of challenges when it comes to English, but they need help, in those languages, you can just call one of our business resource partners or send them an email and schedule an appointment, and they can actually sit with you and help you fill out that application as well. So it was not only making the in terms of the documentation that we're asking from the business owner a simple one, but also if they need help with both technology, because some people, it may not even be that they need a problem with a language. They may just need problem with, they may just have problem with technology, right? They're not able to access the internet or fill out the form online. And one of the 21 business resource partners we have listed would actually help them fill out the form as well.
Yeah, so I know this will sound like you repeated yourself. I want you to re-emphasize a little bit on the reopening, because I know
Sure.
county executive, they really want to know that, to let people know that Montgomery is back in business. So,
Yeah.
and the role that you play is so essential, because as a liaison, you always want to make sure that whatever the county executive is projecting, the people also in tune with that. So can you talk a little bit about the reopening Montgomery, when it's going to take place, and what kind of information we have to look for?
Absolutely. So let me say, Montgomery County, the reopen Montgomery program has already been launched. It was launched, in late August. And we're continuing it in September. Again, there are funds available for businesses that are reopening their business. However, they have purchased PPEs. So that could be gloves, masks, gowns, but also they've purchased other items like, let's say, for example, they had to retrofit, if it's like a restaurant or any office, the front desk with a plexiglass, for example, or they have to buy those, those social distancing signs that they put on the floor, or they have to buy those directional, hardwares that we say come in one side and go out the other side. Those purchases, if you've purchased to reopen your business, you can go to montgomerycountymd.gov/biz-resources/reopen. And see the program description there. We give you items, some example of items that, if you bought those items already and you have your receipts, no problem. Let me also say, if you don't have your receipts, if you have your statement, your credit card statement, bank statement, showing the purchase of those items, you can submit that as well. But it's a lottery system because we want to make sure it's not a first come, first serve. So therefore, you go into a lottery, and our algorithm assign a random number to you. And once you're selected, we send you an email, then you upload those receipts. You can be reimbursed up to $5,000, right? And again, if you've purchased those items per business, if you have one business, that will be your one business. If you have two businesses, per business, you can be reimbursed up to $5,000 per business for the reopen safety items that you've bought. Another thing is, for restaurants, we know some restaurants had to buy some tents, they had to buy some chairs so that they could sit outside. Those items also can be reimbursable as well.
I think that is fantastic, and I'm glad you put this clarification on this. There's always an assumption, though, that when we talk about our community, that people just see you as representing, the African community. I just want you to clarify that you represent businesses as a whole. Can you say something about that so that folks understand that you're not here just for the African community. Although we know the African community are very, active and community that really do a lot of businesses. But you're not here for just one community. You're here for the entire business community. That include all this minorities business. Can you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, so I'm here for the business community, right? My expertise, my education, my background, knowledge of not only starting businesses, but also running businesses is what placed me in this position to be able to speak, but also help businesses as well. So if there's a community I'm here for the business community. I'm both an internal advocate and an external collaboration person as well. So I'm at your show, I'm at many shows, not as of course, I'm black, right? So I cannot escape that, right? This is the only skin God has given me. Again, I'm here for the business community. And if you're part of the business community, it doesn't matter if you're white, black, Hispanic, Asian, no matter where, again, it's how do we make sure we're able to meet the needs of the people, right, in our local community, if you're here in Montgomery County. And as you're meeting the needs of the local community, how can the government, right, be of assistance to you and make it easy for you to do business here in the county? And that is my role. So if there are any impediment of doing business in the county, it's my fault. You should complain to me. You should complain to my boss about me. Hey, Daniel is not responding. Daniel is not doing. That is my role. So again, I really hope, as I say, people don't look at me just because I'm black, that means that I always speak for black businesses. No. My education, my experience, and in business is what I offer to the business community. And indeed, we are a community, because if there's one thing this pandemic has shown us, it doesn't matter if you're a big business, a medium business, or a small business, we are all part of one community. Because when businesses are not doing well, it doesn't matter which spectrum you are in. If small business is not doing well, other businesses are not doing well as well either. If big businesses, medium business are not doing well, small business would not be doing well as well. So I'm here to represent the business community. As I say, I'm really hoping that we all continue to So as I say, if you get any feedback about things that are going wrong, please let me know, and I can start working on those things. On top of the things I'm already working on.
It's very important, and I'm glad you iron out that misconception. What we're gonna do, Daniel, though, is to I'm gonna bring you back to the second element. You started to talk about capital, but I have to cut you off a little bit. We're gonna back to it. We're gonna talk a little bit more about credit, which is one of the most important elements. But before that, though, we're gonna go to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we want to listen more about that. So just give me 1 second. We'll be back, and then we continue to talk about those very important element.
Financial stress is hard on everyone. Your family, your children, your entire life can be affected. With constant harassing calls from creditors serving as a constant reminder of your financial crisis, it may be time to take action. Let our bankruptcy attorneys guide you every step of the way in getting your life back on track and getting rid of those harassing creditors. Contact one of our friendly staff now to set up a free, no obligation consultation to help find out if bankruptcy is the right choice for you and your family. We've helped dozens of clients complete the bankruptcy process, and our experienced team can answer any questions you may have along the way. So don't wait. Contact us now. You'll be glad you did.
Well, we're back. Just to remind folks, we are here with Daniel Koroma. Is the liaison in terms of when it comes to businesses and the county government. He's doing a fantastic job, and he's here on our show today. Make sure you ask question. If you're live, ask your question, and he will be able to answer some of these questions while he's here. Because we don't have Daniel Koroma every day. He's a busy man. So I'm going to bring him back on the show to kind of give us more information about capital and credit, because credit, that word credit, really, when folks listen to it or hear it, it is, the mind goes in many, so many directions. So tell us a little bit, what do you in the county government expect when it comes to capital, credit, the access of capital, access of credit, especially when it comes to minority businesses? Can you extend on that?
Yeah, so absolutely. So let me first of all say, by this, access to information is one of the most challenging things that businesses have. Why? Because business owners are running their business. I mean, they are doing things to make sure that they're able to either serve the customers that they have or support the customers that they have. And so because of that, many businesses don't have access to information. And so one of the things that we have done and we continue to do, especially in this pandemic, is talk about capital, right? So many times when people talk about capital, there are very few elements of capital that they talk about. But we're talking about capital from a holistic standpoint. So for example, there are a series of elements within capital itself. Grant is one that we've just talked about, which is, again, right now the county government is offering up to $5,000 in grant for businesses who are looking to reopen their business. So that's one form of capital. You receive that money, you're able to use it, to purchase items so you can keep the public safe and keep your employees safe. Another form of capital or access to capital is through CDFIs. That's Community Development Financial Institutions. CDFIs, we have one here in Montgomery County. It's called LEDC, and you can go there. They leverage funding from both the SBA and they also receive money from the Treasury Department as well. And CDFIs are able to allow you to lend money even if you're not in the best of shape when it comes to credit. They do risk capital. So just a little bit back up, the first form of capital we talked about, grant. We're not doing any credit checks or anything on grants. So no one should call you and say, give me your social security number or this information, that information. So no credit checks are done when you're from the government. But for CDFIs and other institutions, they, yes, will do a credit pool. But CDFIs are very, I would say they're very flexible because they're using government money, government-backed money to basically lend to you. So that risky capital could be there. They could take risk, a higher risk on capital than other financial institutions. CDFIs also do working capital. So for example, for business operational funding, you can go to a CDFI and get money from them. And then from there, the third form of capital that you can access is through, in terms of your regular, financial banks and financial institutions. Those are market capital, right? So let's say you're at your stage now of your business where you can cash flow for certain loans, either for an equipment or for an item, or just maybe for working capital. A traditional bank or financial institution can lend you money to that. Now, the fourth form of capital is venture capital. There's not a lot of that in Montgomery County. However, there's a lot of that in the area, in the region. But even in Montgomery County, there are people who are looking for viable businesses that they could invest in as well. And so we do have some form of venture capital in Montgomery County, but it's not compared to other places like Silicon Valley, for example. So that's the whole range of capital that we're looking to help businesses, but more specifically minority businesses. And that's to the point you asked. There are challenges. I mean, this is not a secret anymore, that even when it came to government grant, not all minority businesses, not even all, some minority businesses did not access those government grants, even though government grants do not need credit checks. Why? Because these minority businesses didn't have any relationship with banks. And some of these banks were only applying for government loans for businesses that they have relationships with. And because some of these minority businesses don't have relationships with those banks, they did not get the opportunity to apply. And if you ask me, that is wrong. That should not happen. But unfortunately, it happened. So I'm hoping that in the midst of this COVID And as we go out of COVID, one of the things we should really, hopefully, the government should fix will be how do we make sure we create a level playing field, especially when it comes to capital that is coming from the government that does not require credit check. Any business, it doesn't matter if you have a relationship with bank or not, should be able to have access to it. I can assure you that in Montgomery County, we did not do that at all. We made sure we ran our own program, and it didn't matter if you bank with any bank here in the county or any bank anywhere else. Once you are a business doing business in Montgomery County, we gave you access and the opportunity for you to gain the government grant that we made offer. So I hope, as I say, not only now, but Malik, in the future, we start to talk about how do we make sure that the disparities we've seen in health when it comes to the minority community, and those are the disparities that we see now when it comes to, the economic, disparities. We need to make sure we focus on that when it comes to access to capital for minority businesses.
Daniel, that's why they always say it's very important to have somebody who was already grounded, to get some kind of strong connection. If you were not in the community understanding those differences, those nuance, in terms of this community here, it's a very diverse community. You started talking about the diversity in terms of culture and languages. And I'm glad that, time after time, Montgomery County government always understand the complexity of our community in terms of culture, and or putting in place those infrastructures in terms of having people to make it easy for community to thrive. And because when we do good, the government do good because we pay taxes.
That's correct.
That is very important. And having somebody like yourself, you understand what's going on. You live here with us, you see what is in the business. You know that folks want to do business, but when it comes to getting that help, look, something as little as just capital. See how you break it down? People, okay, I don't have credit. They would think about credit as, the government will probably check my credit in order to help me out. So it takes folks like yourself. That's why it's very important for you to come sometime on shows like mine and to explain to folks to not be scared. Come out and seek some help. And when they see you on this show, they know you're a friendly guy. They always ask questions, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Personally, I know you. I know you will do everything possible to help out.
Thank you.
But most folks that don't know you personally, they won't even know that your job is to actually help them out. That is very, very, very important. You said that we have on our previous conversation. You said there were some organization that deal with translated this information into different languages, and me being from the Francophone community, and you said French was actually one of the top three.
Yeah, I think number 4 or number 5 in the county, in terms of language spoken at home. Yes, I think number 5. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how this works? Do you have those infrastructure already stated on your website? How do we access? How these people in the Francophone community get access to these people that can directly explain this information in their native language?
Well, I'm happy you asked, because it is available in our website, and at least some of the organizations that I've been talking about. So we have, for example, the Nonprofit Village, right? They are one of our partners listed here. The Small Business Development Center, also Rockville Chamber of Commerce, Nonprofit Montgomery, Montgomery County Food Council, Montgomery County Economic Development Corporation. They have somebody who speaks Amharic. They have somebody who speaks French. The Maryland Women Business Center. They have somebody who speaks Spanish. And then the Maryland State Child Care Association, Maryland Black Chamber of Commerce. They have somebody who speaks Amharic, have somebody who speaks French. Local Leaders Business Network. They are located in Damascus. Latino Economic Development Center. They have somebody who speaks Spanish. Impact Silver Spring. They have somebody who speaks Amharic. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. They have somebody who speaks French and Spanish. Greater Silver Spring Chamber of Commerce. Greater Bethesda Chamber of Commerce. Gettysburg Germantown Chamber of Commerce. Family Child Care Association. Ethiopian American Chamber of Commerce. They have somebody who speaks Amharic. Child Care Resource and Referral Center. They have somebody who speaks Spanish. Asian American Chamber of Commerce. They have somebody who speaks Mandarin, Vietnamese, and Korean. Arts and Humanity Council. African American Chamber of Commerce. So these are all business resource partners we have and these are the various languages that they could help businesses in the county.
Okay, so usually we schedule our show for 45 minutes. We just 1 minute above the required moment and time scheduled because the conversation is so good and so important. And having you, it's always a pleasure. As not only a friend and somebody who's doing great jobs, always a pleasure to see you, and then to trying to get as much as information that we can when you on a show like this. What I want to say though is those organizations that you were citing, we are publicly inviting them. If you speak French, you have some information you have to pass on. I belong in the Francophone community. You have to come and then trying to reach out to these people. Because in the end, I think Mark Ulrich would like for people to get access to this information, for them to use it, because it doesn't mean anything if you have all of this money, all of this, and then nobody get access to it. Because in the end, you have to do your statistics, and then say, you know what, we have provided this amount of service. How many people get access to it?
Absolutely.
If the statistics is not speaking to how much people are excited or getting access to it, then there's still some work to do. And we are here to work hand in hand with you guys to make sure that your messages is go through those diverse communities and everybody get access equally because information, like you say, is always key.
Thank you so much, Malik, for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So listen. If you have anything, because you just broke down in so many aspects of what you do in terms of your representation and role in the county government. If you have something else you want to add to that, probably I didn't have a chance to ask you. I'm going to leave you the floor to then talk to the folks directly, because everybody is watching right now, whether you here in the United States, Europe, or Africa, people are watching. So I'm going to let you just use this moment to probably say something or conclude, and kind of wrap it up for everything that you were trying to convey today.
Absolutely. So there are two quick things. The census. So all the things that I just talked about, as I say, some of the programs will get money from the federal government. The reason for that is because of the census. That's why we are asking everyone, if you have not filled out your census, if you haven't taken the census survey yet, please make sure you go to census.gov. So census.gov. The census is important because that's how the federal government allocate money for both state and local government. And so if you don't fill out your census, we're basically leaving money at the table. And I think the number is up to 17,000 17,000 or so for the next 10 years that we would not have that money to appropriate and help businesses. How do we help businesses? By providing the information we're providing right now. But there are other information that I just talked about that we provide. So please fill out your census, or if you fill out your census, encourage somebody else to fill out their census. And then lastly, we know there's an election coming. It's important for you to register to vote. So our Board of Elections here in Montgomery County is encouraging everyone not only to prepare to vote, make sure you have a plan to vote. They're looking for election judges, election workers. So if especially you're looking for Francophone and other African languages, so since I'm speaking to that audience right now, if you want to register to vote or you want to volunteer to vote, just text the word vote, VOTE, to 77788. Again, the number to text to is 7788, and what you need to text is VOTE, vote.
Absolutely. Listen, my brother, like always, you're doing a fantastic job, and we're looking forward to talk with you another time. I know you have so much that you want to say. You've said enough already, but it's very important to remind folks about the census still happening right now. There's information out there that you have to go and fill up this information and send back to whoever it's supposed to be. I mean, send back to where did this information goes once you fill up?
It goes to it goes to census, to the Department of Commerce. That's where that's where the Census Bureau is.
Absolutely. And then also you emphasize also the need to register and vote. Voting is one, especially for us as immigrants.
Yes.
If you're an American, part of being an American is to participate in this democracy.
That's right.
You have to make sure your voice is heard, and also help the process to make the process easy, especially when we know what's going on in our country. I'm not gonna get into politics. I will get you back to talk about politics on another show. Today we just focus on the business, but you make sure you will be back to speak about politics, because African people, there's nothing that we can do without politics. But again, Daniel Koroma, thank you again for coming, and you have a wonderful Saturday. Look forward to speak with you again.
You too, Malik, and thank you, everyone. Thank you, Malik, for this platform.
Absolutely. Well, that ends our program for today, folks. It's very important to really understand that those two elements that Daniel just spoke about at the end of this conversation, the census, very important. You were able to tell us how much money is on the table for us to get access to, but the government have to know how many people in need of this this money, and also voting. This is probably one of the most important voting time, and you have to register and you have to vote. It doesn't matter who you vote for, but it's important for you to register and vote. So, folks, I guess that will conclude our show for today. And if you have any comments, you have any ads you want to play when we have our next show, probably tomorrow. We have a young lady, businesswoman who's going to be on the show tomorrow. If you have something you want to promote, please let us know. Send us a message, an email, inbox us, and we will work with you in order to bring on our show your ad or any information you would like to reach out to people. So again, thank you so much. We look forward to be with you tomorrow.